Graduating is exciting, but figuring out what comes next, that can feel overwhelming. Whether you're still in college, getting ready to graduate, or recently finished your degree and trying to land that first real role, you're not alone. Maybe your resume isn't where you want it to be. LinkedIn feels a little confusing, and everyone keeps asking, what's your plan? That's exactly why this podcast exists. Welcome to SharpHR Real Talk, Careers After College. I'm Karen Sharp-Price, founder of SharpHR Career Coaching. Real questions, real strategies. Let's figure this out together. Hi everyone, I'm Karen, and today I'm really excited about this conversation. I've known Ramona Santa Maria, I love that name, it just rolls off my tongue, for several years now, and I believe that we first connected on LinkedIn, which is
We
fitting.
did.
Yeah, I thought we
We
did.
did.
And I think it's fitting because today we're going to be talking about internships and networking. So Ramona is the internship coordinator and associate professor in computer information systems at Buffalo State University. She works closely with students to help them explore career paths, connect with opportunities, and build relationships that can shape their future. If you're a student, a recent grad, or even someone trying to figure out what your next step is, this conversation is going to give you some real practical insight. So, Ramona, I'm so glad that you're here today. Thank you very much for being here.
I am so excited to be here, and I can't wait to talk about networking and internships.
Well, we got a lot to go over. But
Okay.
let's start first about you at Buffalo State University. How do you help students connect with opportunities? I mean, I see you all the time on LinkedIn and you're doing a lot of stuff there, but what from your perspective, what how do you help students connect?
The job market is terrible right now. And so students have to really hustle if they want to, if they want opportunity.
Hmm.
Opportunity can look like an internship. It can look like volunteer work. It can also look like at your grandma's house.
Hmm.
She pays you $1 to do your networking. You are a consultant now, right?
Yeah.
Having your own LLC does cost a lot of money. So there's different ways to do it. You can get a DBA. You can become a consultant in that. There's certifications and paperwork for that, but it's not that expensive.
No, but it gives you the experience.
But it gives you the experience and it gives you the credentials.
Yep.
And your and credentialing is expensive. If you do like the A+ certification or certifications like that, but there's also cheaper ones. I teach a class called CIS 101, and we use SimNet, and SimNet gives you badges as you finish things. So
Hmm.
I think that students or people who are graduated or about to graduate should look to see if they use that software or similar.
Hmm.
And if there's any badges, put them on your LinkedIn.
Yeah.
There are, so what's good about the badges is it's a third party that is saying that you completed work to be this expert in this area at this level. But SimNet gives you certain tasks to follow so that you get the certification.
And it proves that you know how to do it.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah.
proves that you can do it.
Yeah.
And I say that to students all the time, but they don't believe it. Okay,
I know.
whatever.
It's like having kids and telling them what they should do because
Right.
you know as a parent what they should do. But if you tell them, they're not going to trust you. But if somebody else tells them, it's gold.
It's golden, right.
Yeah. And you know what? There is also like Google Analytics has a lot of courses that you
Right.
can take. LinkedIn Learning has a lot of courses that you can take, and
Yes, there's
all
there's
of those
also
things make you stand
there's
out.
there's also Google Classroom,
Oh, okay.
and that has certifications as well.
Okay.
There's Udemy. I always say Udemy,
Yep.
but some people say Udemy,
Yeah.
and that has um, sales on classes. Like you can learn Java in
Hmm.
6 weeks, and it might be $30.
Wow.
To me, I know that for someone just graduating and not having a lot of money, that is a lot of money. But
Right.
some of their courses are $300.
Yeah.
So if they have a discount on a course that you want to take, then that is beautiful.
Yeah. And sometimes you have to put a little effort and some, unfortunately, some money to get going, to get out there and get yourself seen. Because if you don't have those credentials on your LinkedIn, on your resume, then you probably aren't going to get caught in the interview process and get pulled for an interview. So it is important to stand out. And like you said, right now, trying to get a job, it's
So
really a
hard.
nightmare out there. So students graduating um, have to figure out what they can do to make themselves look stronger, better,
Right.
and
How,
that's one of the ways that they can do it.
so how do I connect with students at Buffalo State?
Yeah.
I have the internship class, but I also try to promote the speaker series. I used to promote it more on LinkedIn, but I definitely promote it within the department.
Mhm.
Everyone knows we have this. Now we're going to start having a one credit class. We pilot it with one student this semester. We're going to start having a one credit class where you just come to the speaker series. And
Oh,
that's another way to network. And
that's
each one of
huge.
those people who come and speak, the students should, they might not, but they should go with, go to LinkedIn and connect with those people. They should also, the place that they want to get a job.
Yeah.
So let's say they want to relocate to Atlanta. They should be looking at user groups on LinkedIn that have people from Atlanta from it because it's no longer just what you know, it's who you know.
Yeah.
I just introduced, I have a friend who is a vice president who just got laid off
Mm.
or restructured. So we don't know yet if they're going to get back to the job. He has probably 40 years of experience. Yeah. And he got restructured. Um,
Yeah.
and there's no reason why this person should be
Hmm.
unemployed, eliminated unemployed,
Yeah.
because this person does a lot for the community, a lot to help students. So I
Yeah.
just connected them with an academic that I know who has a job opening.
Oh.
And I said, this person would do great.
Hmm.
Well, great, period,
Yeah.
but do things for your program.
Yeah. And that's what it
So
is. It's about connecting.
yeah, so people have to connect. And even if it's, you and me, we met on LinkedIn.
Yeah.
You probably live, 5 miles from me,
Uh-huh.
and I never knew you.
Yeah.
We're
Our
both
paths never
moms,
crossed.
right? We're both moms, and there's, I think your son is a little bit older than mine.
Yeah. I've got a sophomore in college and one in graduate school.
Right. I have a 15-year-old,
There you go.
but still, I
Yeah.
mean, there's definitely places that we could have met
I know.
as parents,
It's
but we
amazing.
didn't.
Yeah.
You know,
It's amazing how many more people are out there that you can still connect to. Like it's never ending. It's kind of like on LinkedIn under that network tab where they keep feeding you people and keep telling you, oh, maybe you would
Yeah,
know this person. Oh, maybe you should know this person. And it just keeps coming. They just keep adding more and more and more. It's that is the bright side of networking is that you
right.
don't know too many people. There are always going to be others out there.
So I met a guy through another guy through LinkedIn, and I don't know how I met him. I don't know how we got connected. I have no idea.
Yeah.
Um, but he has a podcast uh, called Grow Getters. And this podcast is awesome. And I have met so many people through, like, all over the country. I'm connected with people, and it's mostly marketing.
Is
Do
that
you know
Ben?
Ben Albert?
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah. I know
yeah. You
Ben.
probably met Ben from,
It online, it was during COVID, when there was a lot more networking online and what I've noticed during that period of time was a lot of the small businesses came together as a collective group and in together we became stronger than
yes,
working independently in our own little cubby. So, yeah, yeah. Isn't it a small world though? And it is true that as you get older, the world seems to get smaller and smaller because
yes,
somebody is always connected to somebody else that you know in some way,
yes,
shape, or form. And if you don't, back in my day, we, when we were looking for jobs, and I say this all the time, you would open up the newspaper and look for
right,
an ad and then send your paper copy in an
right,
envelope in the mail and then you'd get a phone call on the wall and
yes,
and none of that exists anymore. And
right,
when I was interested in looking at a company, all I could do was look in my phone book, which I know some people right now are saying, what's a phone book? But I would open up the phone book, look for the company name, and just
right,
make a phone call to somebody that I had no idea who was on the other end.
right.
LinkedIn has made that process so much easier because now you know the name, you know the title, you know where they were before, what kind of education they have. There's just so much that's at our fingertips. But I think a lot of this too is just maturity with young people. They don't feel secure and comfortable reaching out easily to other people.
Right. I just posted on LinkedIn a video of young Steve Jobs,
Yeah,
and he said in the video that people don't ask.
yeah,
And that's one of the things I try to make students do is ask.
yeah. I mean, what's the worst that can happen? The person doesn't respond or says no. But for the most part, what I have found in the last, 25 years that I've been doing this is that if you're genuine and you're sincere and you're reaching out because you want to learn from somebody else, that person is more than willing to help you. They're more than willing to answer any questions that you might have.
Absolutely. And that's what Steve Jobs said. And he said that when he was 12 years old, he reached out to Bill Heward, who is Hewlett Packard.
Uh-huh.
And he said, "Hi, my name is Steve Jobs. I'm a 12-year-old and I'm looking for this or that part."
Wow.
And he sent him all these parts and he gave him a summer job.
Oh my gosh.
And he just looked him up in the phone book. Again, the phone book.
Yeah,
But
yeah. And we got
but
to
just
bring that phone book back.
yeah.
It's
And
helpful.
well, the same thing is an email,
Yeah,
right?
yeah. Yeah, I mean because it's less threatening when you email somebody and you're professional but respectful and you just ask for help. Just ask for not so much that you're asking for the job because that is a different conversation, but when you want to learn about a company or learn about what kind of skill sets do I need or what should I be thinking about in the next few years, any of that is really important to to figure out so that you know what steps to take and like taking a course in something.
Yes.
And so, yeah, I think people have to just take a chance, get out of their comfort zone just a little bit and just try it. And I don't know, so far this has worked for me, but on LinkedIn, I look at the photo of the person, and if they look kind, then I'm more willing to reach out to them. If they don't look kind, then I tend to like, okay, maybe not. And that's
Yeah.
kind of my my
Your
scale.
strategy?
Yeah.
Yeah,
They need to come up with a creative title for that,
I
for the
know.
for the new entry level positions. Because yes, a lot of people that I know, they're just coming out of college, say, well, I can't apply. It says I need 1 to 3 years of experience, and I don't have that. And I tell them not to worry so much about that part of it. If it's a job that you are interested in, if you have a background in it, if you have some kind of experience, whether it's just a classroom experience, you worked on a project in a team environment or something like that, you still apply, still throw your hat in the ring, still try to connect with the people that work there. It's you have to, you can't be passive anymore when you're looking for a
No,
job. You just can't.
you have to be hungry.
Yes.
There's a book, and I can't think of the author's name, but it's called Humble,
Huh.
Hungry, and Active. And all students should read it because they tell you to do those three things.
Yeah.
Be humble in
Yeah.
your email, be hungry, be ready to, you know, reach out to people,
Yeah.
and, like this. And active meaning, another, thing I always say to students is no just means next.
Right.
And we can say that with relationships. We could say that with job opportunities. We can say that with if your parents say no,
Yeah.
okay, next.
We grow and we
Right,
grow through those experiences. You may be going in for the interview and you may feel as though you're perfect for the job, but then you don't get the offer.
right,
What do you learn from that experience? You don't want to take the negative with you. You
right,
want to see, look at the job posting again. Was there something on there that maybe you weren't as strong as maybe the candidate that did get the job? Well,
right,
now go back and try to see how can you get that skill.
right,
You can always learn from something. It's not a negative. And I try to really emphasize to people that when they don't get the opportunity, yes, it can be at the moment devastating at times if you really feel like, you were a good fit. Um, but there's a better job around the corner. There's a better opportunity. You have more time to finesse your story and your answers to questions. And maybe it gives you a little bit more time to build the resume closer to what
right,
people are looking for. So
right,
there's so many inside internal things going on when somebody is interviewing somebody. They know the group of people that you're going to be working for
right,
and working with.
exactly.
They know the ins and outs, the personalities, all of that. So when they're interviewing you, they're trying to envision you being with that group, and would that be a good chemistry? It doesn't mean that if you're not, that there's something wrong with your personality, not in any shape or form. It's they're working with a group and they need to bring somebody into that group. So
Right.
they're not going to start over again. So there's a lot of complexity to hiring somebody. It's not
Yes,
a simple
exactly.
thing at all.
I would definitely say that at the bigger companies, that fit is a big deal. I have there's a graduate from 2017 who was looking for a job, just got employed.
Mhm.
And that person was at one of the big companies in Western New York, was hired there and was making a good salary, and then just didn't fit. They wanted somebody to do more group projects, and this person was really good at working by themselves. So you have to, you know, you have a trial period on that group as well,
Yeah.
and if it doesn't work out, then maybe they'll say, try this group. They're looking for somebody, and they might shuffle you around.
Hmm.
But what you need to know is that you will find a good fit.
Yeah. You just have to persevere. You
Yeah,
just have to have a little bit of grit. My sister and I were talking about how generations before us feels like they had more grit. It feels like they were a
yes,
little bit tougher around the edges, and
they
because
were.
they had to go through a lot more than what we go through.
M-
Um,
My grandmother is 92 and
wow.
she's still alive. And she is like the toughest lady that I know.
Yeah.
It- we call her the big guns. You know, for some
Yeah.
reason, if she gets in there with somebody, my father was hospitalized for a long time and he's like, so you sent in the big guns.
Yeah, there's something about previous generations that what they lived through and the experiences that they had made them stronger. It did not make them weaker. What do you think is the reason why internships seem to be just so important these days? And maybe especially in computer information systems, but I know in business too, and pretty much across the
Oh,
board, internships are really important. And what I don't understand, Ramona, is I still hear universities that do not require any internships
we
for
don't
some
require it
students.
either,
I don't get
but it's an
that.
opportunity,
Yeah.
right? It's an elective course that students can take. And someone from M&T Bank just talked to a class and said, one internship, you need three. And
Yeah.
even if it's the same internship place,
Yeah.
but you're doing different things,
Mm-hmm.
you can do that.
Yeah.
You know,
Absolutely.
I have a student who is working at Moog,
Hmm.
which is a huge engineering,
Yeah.
aerospace engineering, um, but also, computers to do all of that. Every single business,
Yeah.
you said the business, it's not always the same.
Yeah.
Every single business has computers.
Yep.
Every single business. So there's no reason why you shouldn't get something.
Hmm. Absolutely agree.
If you're active at pursuing positions, you should have an Excel spreadsheet that has who you contacted, which company, who you talked to, what their phone number is, when you send them the date that you send them your resume,
Yep.
and did you get the job or not get the job?
Yeah. And how many, layers of interviews did you go through
Right,
and keep those notes? I struggle with my younger son to keep things. He tends to like just delete them and I'm like, no, no, no. You start a folder and you keep them because you never know down the road you're going to need to look back. And
right,
especially, so here's the thing that I really recommend for people when they start the job search process. Yes, absolutely. You got to have that spreadsheet because then all your information is together. You can go back to it and look at because some of these companies they might post jobs but they might not start hiring for 2 months and then you don't remember what that job was. And here's the other thing that's really important: don't just save the link to the job posting. You got to either copy and paste it into a Word document or print it
yep,
out because you that is gold. That information you need when you prepare for your interview. And if you
right,
don't have that, you don't know what's important to this company and to this role that you're about to interview for. So you go
right.
in there really unprepared if you don't have that information. So, 100% that you've got to start keeping track of, because you're not going to apply to only 5 jobs and get one of them.
Right.
You're going to
Right.
apply to 30 or 40, and you're going to have multiple levels of interviewing.
I'm glad that you mentioned that because I remember last year I was working with s- a student who was about to graduate. And then I was working with her after she graduated. And she was like, I applied for 80 jobs this week. I'm like, I'm thinking to myself, that's impossible.
Yeah.
But it is possible with the way the algorithms have things set up. The sites have things set up. You could
If you're just
easily
clicking.
apply
Yeah.
to 80 jobs.
Well, so here's my thought on that too. When I have clients that call me and say that they've applied to 100 jobs and they're just not getting the feedback, um, I personally think that there can't be 100 jobs that you really would want.
Right,
So I think people need to focus in more about what their interests are, the types of companies they want, large, medium, small, the role that they want. I think there's lots of things that, you can click, you can go on Indeed and LinkedIn and do the easy click and just click, click, click. But what I find is people then sometimes get a bite and they might get an interview. And then they'll call me and say, well, I don't know if I really want this. Well, they haven't even gone in for the interview. So that means that they must have just clicked the button to apply and didn't really
right,
think about it. And so
right.
I think people need to slow down a little bit and think about what they really want. But internships and having 1, 2, 3 internships I think is vital. Like I can't
It's
speak on it
it's
enough.
so important.
Yeah.
I will use myself as an example.
Yeah.
So I thought I wanted to go into HR, and there are parts of HR that I liked.
Mhm.
I liked the policy part, and I liked the outreach to other communities. We did some at the internship I had, we did some networking with pregnant moms,
Hmm.
giving them life skills. I liked that. Um, I really hated doing the manuals.
Mm.
There are so many parts about HR that I didn't like.
Uh-huh.
And then I got a computer internship, and the guy had me organize. I did a lot of secretarial stuff, but I was able to take classes at this organization. So
Huh.
I went in and I took a bunch of classes for free, and they were at that time $200.
Oh,
And
well,
that was a lot of money. It's still a lot of money.
sure.
Um, but I took advantage of the opportunities that
Yep.
I could get at that company. And that's the other thing is you might not like your work, but are there opportunities
Yeah.
at your organization or your internship? So
Mm-hmm.
I realized that I could take these classes, and that had credentialing.
Ah.
So, credentialing from the 90s, a piece
Mm-hmm.
of paper. But I could add that piece of paper to my folder
Yep.
at the career center at school, right? And so I think that's really important. And what I really saw with those pregnant moms is that I like teaching, and that
Mm.
I like teaching people that really need help.
Yep.
I work with a lot of immigrants,
Mm.
and the kids who are transsexual or ADHD or autistic, they always come to me. or immigrants. Immigrants always come to me. And I think that's such a good compliment
Yeah, yeah,
that there are
they
people
feel safe.
that will not work with them, but I will.
Wow.
Yeah, there's a lot of, I remember there was this one student, he's now passed away from cancer,
Mm.
but his mom called a friend on campus and said, "Who will be a an advocate for my son?" Because this person had a 4.0 average
Wow.
because but they were so autistic that they had to have a internship on campus.
Okay.
They did not know how to get anyplace else but campus.
Yep.
They are bus trained for campus. And I think that there's a lot of things that are important. I
Yep.
get students a lot of internships on campus
Mm.
because that's what they know.
Yep.
And you have to go with what you know too.
Right. And you feel comfortable and safe with. Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Exactly. So students feel comfortable on campus.
Hmm.
So I tend to get them a lot of opportunities on campus.
That's great.
So there's one thing I want to talk about.
Hmm.
I had a student, I placed them at a company with a person that I know. They stopped going to the internship once the semester was over.
Okay.
The company invited them to stay over the break,
Oh,
right?
that's great. Yeah.
And do more work with them. The
Yep.
student just stopped going. He's like, "Well, I had other things to do."
Oh,
And time was low there. Okay. Well, guess what? You just lost the company internship. You lost your supervisor's recommendation, the chair of the company, and me. I can't recommend you.
right. Yeah.
So
Oh, wow.
this person spent all this time to
Wow.
get no recommendations.
Yeah. What an opportunity lost.
Right. And this is not a no means next.
Yeah.
It's what are you going when you lose, don't lose the lesson.
Yeah.
The lesson here is they expect you. If they invite you, you can say no. But
Yeah.
if you say
Politely.
but
Yeah.
if you say yes, you got to give your best.
Yes. Yes. You've got to give everything you've got when you have an opportunity to prove yourself. And I don't know. Do you think there's a disconnect with students and
Yes.
and what they
Yes.
perceive the other side is
Yes.
going to be like? Because I, like that student, they simply, if they were busy, and they could have been, maybe they just want to focus on school when school is in session, and that's
Right.
fine. But sending a polite email explaining that would have kept the referral, would have
Right.
kept the door open for another semester down the road in the
Right.
summer. Like it shut all of those opportunities out.
Right. Exactly.
It's critical. It really is for college students, one, to, I think, from day one when they start, even if they don't know what they want to do with their life, to start looking at different internships and have one
Absolutely.
every single year after that. Because one, you get to expose yourself to opportunities and companies and just see what's out there. So, you don't even have to know exactly what you want. But then the more experience that you get and the more internships that you do, you start to figure out what you like and what you don't like. And you start moving more towards the stuff that you do like.
Right. Exactly. I remember I had a job interview where it paid $13,000, and that was low for the time. I
Yeah.
think people were making like 20. 20 was like average. But the supervisor said to me on the interview, "Oh, some days I give my team a day or two off because they've worked so hard. I'm like, a day or two off? I like
Wow.
the summer off. And so I learned something about myself that that type of work was not for me.
Yeah. Yeah,
You know,
that's how you learn.
that's how you learn. You go on in interviews and I said earlier, when you lose, don't lose the lesson.
Yeah. It's a really
Like
great
that,
quote.
what's the lesson that you got? I mean, I was not a good fit for that job. They offered me the job,
Hmm.
but I said no
And that's
because,
okay too. That's
yeah.
a lesson that even though you get an offer, does not mean that you have to take it. I think some people are hesitant about pursuing an opportunity because they're not quite sure. But honestly, all you have at the moment when you apply is the job posting in front of you. That
Hmm.
doesn't give you a lot of information. You have to go through the process of interviewing to learn about your supervisor, maybe a coworker,
Right.
what the actual job entails, what kind of benefits are they going to have, all of those things. And when it's all said and done, I think people are like, oh no, like if I get the offer, then I need to accept it. No, you don't. You can take it to the very end and then sit and think and make sure you have a really good reason why you're not taking it, but then you
Right.
absolutely can say no. I think people are only want to apply to jobs that they think they're absolutely going to say yes to. And I think it's a learning process. And I think it's more of a learning process now than it ever was. Some of these interviews, and I don't know if you've heard about them, but they seem to be dragging on for
Yeah.
multiple interviews and multiple weeks.
Right.
And it's
It depends
exhausting.
on the company, right? If you're applying to it seems like a big corporation that's headquartered here,
Hmm.
right? There's a few of them.
Yeah.
You might I love using Frontier Science
Hmm.
as a example. They their web presence is small and their company probably has 50 or 60 people in it. And they deal with data all over the world.
Wow.
And they're such a small company, or they have such a small footprint here in Western New York that you wouldn't even know about them.
Huh.
See, you're learning about them right now.
I am. I'm going to check them out when we get off get off
And
the
they're a wonderful company that's headquartered here
uh-huh.
that does work all over the world.
Huh.
And so you're working for an international company, but it's
Wow.
headquartered here.
Hmm.
Also, FedEx has, a footprint here.
Mm-hmm.
They're not headquartered here, but they have a large footprint here. And one of my students who is from Bangladesh said, "Thank you so much for helping me get an interview over here." I'm like, yeah, I'm like, no big deal.
Yeah.
And he's like, I can write home to Bangladesh. They
Huh.
know what FedEx is.
Wow.
They know their company already. I mean, you
Well,
don't know
no.
what these companies or what these internships will do for somebody.
Yeah, they
You
make a
just don't
huge
know.
difference. Right, right. Yeah. So, what do you think, uh, from your perspective, how important is networking compared to
Oh,
just applying online?
oh my God. Well, like I said before, you need to be credentialed. You need to have whatever the job, description is looking for.
Hmm.
And you can't fake it.
Right.
Right? You can't fake it on your resume. You just have to be honest. I think that the students, because they're on this all the time,
Yeah, yeah, their phones. Yeah.
you probably did this too. I make my son order pizzas. Tease does not get to do it online. He has to I made him go to an establishment to have he's like, I'm not handing in my application yet. And I'm like, it doesn't matter. You just go in there to tell them that you're going to hand in your application.
Wow.
I make him talk to people.
Yeah, that's great because that's one of the things that most people, young people, don't do anymore. They would rather text or
I
email.
I'd rather do that too.
Yeah, I mean,
But
yes.
but
Yeah,
the
as I got older, I do feel like that.
um I would rather do that too.
Yeah.
But a phone call is always better. You
Yeah.
could, I see with this, I had brain surgery and I see that coming back from this, that I can't always, my fingers don't always hit the right buttons.
Uh,
And speech to text isn't always good. So phone call is better.
hmm.
And although people don't always want to do it, I want to have a phone call.
Yeah. And you know what? It's that one element that makes you stand out more than the person next to you who just simply clicked the button and applied.
Right.
Um,
The other thing is a thank you note afterwards.
oh my gosh. Yes. Do you know most people do not do thank you notes?
Well, maybe it's not a actual note. Maybe it's an
It's an
email.
email. Yeah, it's an email. But the so here's the thing, when we started this conversation, you have to stand out because
Right.
there are hundreds of people applying to jobs nowadays. And what is going to be different from your resume to somebody else's? It's not going to be so much the resume. It's going to be possibly the email to introduce yourself ahead of time. It's going to be the thank you note afterwards. It's going to be the follow-up when they said, oh, you know what, we're going to take about a week to do these interviews, and then
Right.
we will start making our decisions. You follow up the day before they're going to start making their decisions to say, hey, I'm still out here and I'm still very interested. You have to do certain things that just make you stand out just a little bit more than the other guy. And it's harder.
Even my son who said I'm not hitting in my application yet,
Uh-huh.
I still send him there so he could talk to the shift manager.
And what
And
did
I
he
said, just
think after he
ask
did
for the
it?
shift manager. She's like, what should I say?
Yeah.
Just say that you're going to hand an application and
Yeah.
you're looking for a summer job.
And how did it go? Did he do it? Was
They
he
were
comfortable?
closed. They were closed.
Oh.
And I said, that's great that they were closed. They're not open on Sundays. And he's like, not open on Sundays. That's mean I'm missing out on money. Uh, well, that's his
Yeah,
perspective.
yeah, and you have to be aware of all these little clues. So, it sounds like your son wants to make money. That's important.
Right,
He is learning the things that he might have to do in order to get a job.
right,
And so it's a slow process as
right.
they mature and they try
Right.
different things and all that. But eventually they get there, they do,
But
as long as they're guided. And, your son is guided by you.
well, he's guided by me, but as you said, he doesn't listen to me. So what I can tell the people out there is
Yes.
all of the things that I'm doing with him
Yeah.
are the things that I do with my students and the things that people looking for a job should do.
Hmm. Yeah,
I
absolutely.
think that it's really important. Like I said, my friend has years of experience and she is looking for jobs. So you're going to have people like that who
Hmm.
are looking for jobs,
Yeah.
and that's your competition.
Oh my gosh, I have clients that have years of experience, are real go-getters who have done phenomenal work, and they're still looking a year later. They still can't.
Right,
And they have the
right,
credentials, they have experience, they're
right.
out there doing it. And someone might say, well, okay, so they're doing all those things and they can't find work. but you can't stop. You need to
Right.
just persevere. Just you got to
Right.
keep doing it. Sometimes you mix it up a little bit because you don't want to get tired doing the same thing every day trying to get a job. But it's a unfortunately it's a game that you got to play and you got to
Right.
learn new strategies along the way.
Right. And one thing that I learned from my dissertation is that you have to do something every day. You have to do something every day. Maybe it's opening up that Excel spreadsheet and reading it and saying, huh, this company I've applied to twice. Maybe why are they still advertising on LinkedIn?
Yeah,
Right? You might want to just update your resume. You might want to, go on LinkedIn. I'm a big LinkedIner. I
I
just
see you
finished.
there all the time.
I know. I probably should be more active in groups,
Uh,
but I'm not.
well, you're
I'm
pretty active individually. You're posting jobs, internships all the time. So if anybody is looking for any kind of computer information system
right.
jobs, they should be following you.
Well, that's what I tell them. And they say, but I look at Indeed and I look at whatever,
Yeah,
Monster, whatever.
there's so many of
Um,
them. Yeah.
there's so many of them. Students need to look at all those, but also need to follow me because I'm looking at the job descriptions
Hmm.
and I'm seeing I post things other people might not post.
Yeah.
I'm on listservs, I'm on lots of things. Now, it doesn't mean that I know the people there,
Hmm.
but I might. For example, we have a grad from years ago, early 2000, who is a full stack developer. And he just got reorganized and lost his job. I said, what? That's really interesting because I just got a contact through GrowGetters whose wife is looking for your credentials,
Huh?
right?
Yeah.
And I said, you need to contact him.
Yeah.
And I tagged him in the response, the public response to him.
Uh-huh.
And I said, you need to contact this person. And I tagged him so he knew that I was trying to help him
Right.
or help his wife, who I've never met,
Yeah. Huh.
fill that position.
But that is what networking is all about. And the
Right,
number one way to get a job is through your network. And that's why it's so important. And even when you get a job, don't stop networking. You
right.
have to keep it going. Hmm.
Have your resume evaluated by your career set or any university career center.
Hmm.
Best is probably the one that you graduated from.
Yep.
And at least Buffalo State, they will look at your things for up to 2 years
Oh, wow.
after
That's great.
graduation.
Yeah.
I don't know about other schools,
Yeah.
but they will look at your stuff and they will tell you what's wrong.
That's great.
As an HR professional,
Yeah.
that it's really important for anyone to have a strong resume.
Yeah, it is, and it goes hand in hand with their LinkedIn for sure. So I can't believe our time is like flowing by right now, but I have one last question for you. So how can students start networking if they feel like they don't know anybody out there in the field? What
Oh,
kind of advice would you give them?
I tell them to start talking in groups. Or if you can't talk in groups, um, and they're like, well, I don't know how to find groups. Like, take somebody like me and see what groups I'm involved in. Anybody from me, you can move on to another person.
Yep.
So I just looked at somebody today on LinkedIn. I'm like, gee, 20 years ago, they didn't look like that. And I clicked at something and I saw a friend of mine.
Huh.
And I said, I texted him. I said, "What are you? I'm trying to look for this person. What are you doing in my searches?" So I reconnected with them.
Yeah,
Right. So I re-networked with that person.
I think
And
that's
although
great.
they teach at Fredonia,
Mm,
I might know a student who's going there
yeah,
and who's going to major in that.
right.
And that's a connection.
So students should be looking at their professors first
Yes,
and connecting with all of them on LinkedIn, and then reaching out with them and talking to them about who they know, because
right,
they may have connections out in the world, and they may feel comfortable reaching out to somebody
right.
for you.
And everyone should know that you're looking for a job. Everyone. Your auntie who goes to church. Oh my God, that is such a resource. Because maybe the church needs some technology help.
Yeah.
Help them. That's an internship. You say to the pastor, can I call this an internship? A long time ago, so I said to my department chair, I'm doing a lot of things for CIS 101. Can I call myself the coordinator of it? And he said, sure. And I have been the coordinator of CIS 101 through multiple chairs.
Wow. Yeah.
And it's just because, again, as Steve Jobs said, it's just because I asked.
Yeah, it's simple questions lead you down some really great opportunities and
Right.
paths. So,
And you
yeah.
don't even know it.
No, no, not at all. So, another graduating class is about to receive their diplomas. Actually, by the time this podcast airs, they will be graduates. Do you have any advice for the class of 2026 as they start their careers?
Yes, I do. Get yourself credentialed.
Mm-hmm.
Don't be afraid if you are rejected. Don't have an objective. Put your keywords at the top of your resume. Keywords, as find out what the current keywords are for your field
Mm-hmm.
and put them at the top and make sure that they are visible. And you can call them skills if
Mm-hmm.
you want to. You can just say, I Java A plus plus, C plus plus, A plus certification, whatever is the hot topics that you have,
Yeah,
you want those keywords up in front because a lot of the positions are AI looking at the resumes,
right.
and you want that. You don't want the AI to spit out your resume.
Yeah.
Also, I just saw somebody on LinkedIn today who had a spelling error. I wouldn't hire that person if they had a spelling error. And you're going
Detail.
to say to me, oh my God, I can't believe that you wouldn't hire somebody because of a spelling error.
Yeah.
Yep.
Because
I
it
don't
shows
care.
detail.
Right. I don't care if English isn't your first language. Learning a second language are better
Mm.
at spelling and grammar or word placement than native speakers.
Hmm. They're more careful.
Yes.
Yeah.
So make sure that you don't have any spelling errors.
Yeah. That's a
If you're
very
old
good.
like me, you have the sentence and then you put a period.
Mhm.
Or it used to be two spaces. Now it's back to one. You have to know that.
But be consistent all the way through
Right.
as well.
Yes.
Yeah.
Yeah. If you don't know what the right thing to do is, be consistent.
Yep. Yeah. Well, Ramona, this has been great, and we could do this weekly because there's so much to talk about. Thank you
There's so
so
much.
much. I mean, really, thank you so much. We really sync in everything that we do. Our
Yes.
theories, our thoughts, our processes are really the same. So I really appreciate all your insight. I think it's been extremely helpful for students who are about to graduate, and even for the students that are still in college right now. You take all this
They
advice
need it.
Yes,
I
take it.
once it's posted,
Yeah.
I'm going to give this as a lesson.
Oh, there you go. Good idea.
Yeah.
I
So
like that. I
thank
like
you
that.
for giving me a lesson.
Yeah, well, thank you for spending the time today with me. And to everyone listening, remember, internships, networking are not about having it all figured out. So it's
Right.
about taking that next step and staying open to the process. If this conversation helped you, be sure to follow along for more real talk around careers after college. And remember, let's be kind out there. It starts with you and me. Have a great
Oh,
day.